Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. And we are talking about the do's, the don'ts, mostly the do's of the financial markets. That way you can make smart investing decisions moving forward, whether you're looking for income strategies or wealth strategies. And we had a lot of people texting in and calling in about these different classes that we offer here at Online Trading Academy to help people get started in the financial markets. So if you're new and you just want to dip your toe in the water, see what the markets are all about, we have a free class. It's about a 2 hour class at our local academies. You can text right now for 2 tickets. Text the word investing to the number 210 210. That's text investing to the number 210 210. Also, we have a 3 day deep dive. So if you know that you want to be a trader, you know that you want to be an investor, or maybe you already are in the markets and are looking for more consistency, you can call right now for 2 seats in a 3 day deep dive class. It's only 99 bucks. So when you call in, mention you want the 3 day deep dive class. You can call 888-682-6466. That's 888-682-6466 for 2 seats in that 3 day deep dive investing class. So, Al, in that last segment, we were talking a lot about some of the opportunities that are happening, especially with well, you got Meta, you got WWE that's actually up on the year big, you got Google that's down big on the year. So it's not just people, people shouldn't just go out and buy these stocks that are down big because what goes down can continue to go down. So that's why you need proper placement of your buys and your sells, which means where do you get in and where do you have the lowest risk opportunity? We were talking about supply and demand in the financial markets. And I want you to kind of explain a little bit and kind of get into how the markets actually work, how they function, but how the supply and demand ties into movement or price action in the financial markets.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just look at what the markets really are. The markets are really just a collection of people buying and selling, and they're making their decisions based on questionable data, on opinions, on predictions, on guesses, and on hope. Or they really are just following what other people do. And I think this is the bottom line: is the public piles in or gets out pretty much together. So it's important to be successful as a trader investor that you are able to identify how to get in before they do, because then they're going to move the market, or get out before they do, because then they're going to move the market the other direction. You mentioned earlier a couple of the stocks that are big are down big. People thinking maybe, well, it's time for a rebound, but they may continue to go lower. That's true. They might continue to go lower, or they might turn around and go back up again. But wouldn't it be helpful for you to have a real strong understanding, a high degree of accuracy of being able to identify when they're going to turn around and go back up, or if it's going to continue to go back down? And that is what our strategy is designed to do. It's designed to show you how to identify those things based on who causes it to happen. And who is that? It's the institutions. And to be honest with you, those institutions, the Wall Street firms, they use the facts that I just mentioned about people buying and selling together. They use that to benefit themselves from the emotions of the public. So to succeed, you really have to be a step ahead of the masses. And how you do that is you follow the people that take actions to get the masses to enter a trade or exit a trade, because those institutions that are doing that, they're already positioned. They know when they want to get into a position, and they can do a number of things to make the public kind of believe the same thing and jump into a particular position, whether it's the market in general or individual assets.
That's a great point, Al, because I think a lot of people focus on the news and what the news is saying in the markets,
Right.
and they make their decisions based off of that, which is lagging information. So it's not just about the news. That's actually a clue on what you might or
Right.
should be doing. But that will go back to the charts, like what you're alluding to.
Yeah, and if you're relying on the news, and if you're relying on the news outlets, you also will occasionally find out that they don't always have the facts correct. And whether it's intentional or not, it doesn't make any
Who
difference.
knows? But
But
I think we know.
yeah, but if you're using that information, you're then putting your opinion into the mix there, and you're saying, based on what they said, this is what I think should happen. It's much more effective as far as your ability to be successful to just follow facts. And the facts are that only one thing causes price to go up. That's buyers, more buyers than sellers. And only one thing causes price to go down. That's more sellers than buyers. So being able to identify where the big buyers are going to be in the market, the big sellers are going to be in the market before they actually are doing it, that's what's going to make you successful. That's what our core strategy has been designed and refined to do. We have been in business, as Josh mentioned, for over 25 years, and we've really refined the strategy. It's been put together by people that work on Wall Street, that lived that life and know what works and know what doesn't work. So it really comes down to reading a price chart, because everything you need to know is on a price chart. It's like reading a story, but it's also knowing what the end of the story is going to be. Everything you need to know is there. You just need to have the education and the skills to be able to pull out of that price chart what's important.
Yeah, you're right. You brought up a couple great comments there about how these markets actually function. It's not, there's a lot of news that's going on. Is it true? Is it true on purpose or false on purpose? Who knows? But that's why you want to focus on the charts. In Online Trading Academy, as you mentioned, teaching people just like you listening right now how to trade in the markets for over 25 years. The show that we've been doing, Al, we've been on the radio for several years. This show has been played in what, nine or 10 different states,
Right.
2 countries. And a lot of people just want to know how these markets actually function. So we've been, getting this point across to people all across the country, even the world, in a couple different countries. If you go to the podcast, there's several countries that listen to the podcast. So that's what's great, is people are looking for information about the financial markets. Now, the next step is, what will you do with that information, right? Some people will just continue to listen and just like to listen because we're so darn entertaining, right? Well, then if you want to make better in your finances, have better decisions moving forward, or better choices moving forward, take some of this information and then start to act on that, which would be kind of that next step. And we have these investing classes to help you take that next step. If you're new to the markets, or you're not really sure on what to do, or maybe you're just confused a little bit, come into one of these classes that Al and I both teach, and we'll actually dissect how these markets actually function, help you be more comfortable and confident getting into this type of space. So if you want to do that, you can text right now for 2 seats for a free investing class. We have these classes locally. They're about 2 hours. We have these during the week. We also have these on the weekends. You can text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's text investing to the number 210-210. And this is for 2 seats. Most people bring their spouse. I mean, Al, we've been having a lot of people come to these classes lately, especially with what the markets are doing. But also, we're seeing more people bring their spouses with, or significant other, because most people make their financial decisions together.
Right.
And that's a great thing, is you can make this a family deal. We got Halloween coming up here, and this might be a family deal for them. For those of you that are listening to the show after Halloween, well, what are you going to do moving forward? What's your next step? Take that step and come into one of these classes. Text the word investing right now to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for a free investing class to see how these markets actually work. So, Al, now that we've kind of talked through how the markets function, its supply and demand, you mentioned Online Trading Academy's core strategy, which is designed to teach you to make smart investing decisions. It's a step-by-step strategy, but you have different goals or objectives in the market as well. Let's talk about, a lot of listeners are probably listening right now, and they want to be able to have more choices in life, but it's not free to do some of the things that they want to do. Talk about some of those income strategies that we teach at Online Trading Academy to help everyday people have those opportunities.
When you think about income, what do you think about? Do you think about money that you can access in 10 or 20 or 30 years? Or do you think about money maybe like you get on a paycheck? Maybe you get paid every couple of weeks, or every week, or once a month. But that's short term. That's income that you can use for your lifestyle now, and also for putting some extra money away for your future. That future is going to be here before you know it. You're going to blink, and all of a sudden you're going to be retired. And for a lot of people out there listening, they're going to go, "Oh, I should have started saving years ago, and I didn't." Well, maybe you didn't because you didn't have the additional income. Right now, with inflation where it is, and the Fed's going to continue to increase the interest rates. So inflation, they're trying to control inflation. Right now, we're still dealing with it. So Costs have gone up. In fact, even what's coming up? What's the holiday coming up here this next week?
Halloween.
It's Halloween. Did you know that Halloween candy has gone up more than it has ever gone up since they started tracking the cost of it?
And they're saying like over half the people are not going to be giving away candy this year because of that.
Yeah, 14. It went up 14%. Yeah, that's just one thing. Food in
Crazy.
general has gone up. Josh mentioned gas. The cost of living, the cost of staying alive, has gotten more expensive. So for a lot of people, having that ability to generate some additional money could be a great thing. And
So what are some of the techniques and strategies that Online Trading Academy teaches for that?
well, there are assets that are really ideal for income. And by income, again, I'm going to go into the short-term nature of it. If you need additional or want additional money to help you with your current lifestyle, and to be able to put something away in the future, you need to access it now. There are assets that are really designed for short-term trading. The futures market, the foreign exchange market, the options market. Options can be used short-term, kind of medium-term, and long-term. But these are assets that the institutions are using. The big hedge fund managers, the people that are making billions of dollars a year in these markets, they are using these assets. It's possible that your broker is using them, or maybe not your broker, but the brokerage firm is using them. And again, I mentioned futures, Forex, and options. They're short-term in nature. So for some of these assets you can get into, we have people that come in that want to day trade. Well, there's an asset that's good for that. Most people don't want to be that active, so maybe they're looking at generating some income on a weekly or monthly basis. Some of these assets are perfect for that. Most of you don't know that much about the futures, Forex, or options market because nobody has taught you. And that's what we do. We have experts here, instructors, professional instructors that trade those assets, maybe that worked on the floor of the Chicago Board of Options, for example, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange trading futures, or hedge fund managers. These are people that live this market that are willing to share their experiences and their knowledge with our students. So we do that. In these 2-hour classes, and by the way, I just want to comment on that. Just think about this. If you're listening to this show, you must have some interest in the financial markets. You must have some interest in maybe benefiting from the markets. If that's the case, can you find just 2 hours in your life to come in and maybe see if this is worth is something that's going to be of value to you? Is it right for you? If it isn't right for you, at least you'll know that. But it's just 2 hours. And let's admit it. If you want to do something and you find something that's enjoyable to you, you're going to find the 2 hours. This is going to go by quickly, and you will learn a lot. Whether it's right for you or not, you will come away with more knowledge than you came into this class with. And bring your spouse with. I met with a woman just the other day whose husband passed away recently. All of a sudden, she is now responsible for all of her financial activity, and she doesn't know what to do. So she's becoming a student so she can take more control over the assets that she has. Unfortunately, if you're a male and you have a spouse, it's a female, she's going to probably outlive you. And if you don't do something to maybe help educate her, you may be putting her in the same position where at some point in time, all of a sudden, without any knowledge, she's responsible for her finances. So bring your spouse along.
I'm really glad you brought that up because it's not all, everybody, likes, the different things that are opportunities that trading and investing can give people. But don't just do this for yourself. Learn these different techniques, learn these different skills for your family as well. Try to set them up or leave a legacy at one point. That's a great comment, El. I'm glad you brought that up because I think a lot of listeners right now are probably thinking, you know what? Let's do it for the family. Let's do it for somebody else and help others. That way they can continue to do the things that they want to do when that time comes. But we have these investing classes to get familiar with some of the stuff that we're talking about. You can text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 free seats for this class. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats. You're also going to get a financial quick start kit to get started right away. So that way, when you get that financial quick start kit, show your spouse, show your significant other, and show them what this is. That way, they can be more comfortable getting into this market. Al, coming up next, I want to talk about something that may have increased most people's payments, potentially 75% in the last 1 year. Coming up next. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We'll be right back.